This one has the Vokky right here. I just watched that clip with the Arny Palmy. Arny Palmies. This one has the Vokky right here, honey. She's just hating his guts.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bad day to be an Arny Palmy with a little bit of Vokky in it.
Says who?
Nice out in Chicago.
Says the Arny Palmy, because you're going to drink it. Multiple of them.
Yeah. Bad day to be a Busch Light.
Okay, I gotcha. I'm here.
It's kind of windy. It's still kind of chilly.
In the Windy City, you don't say.
I got some ribs on the smoker right now. Mark, if you're hungry later, let me know. I've got 3 slabs on, and it's just me and the dog. I'm kidless and wifeless for the weekend, so.
Look at you. Did you finally get some slumber? You look not refreshed, but.
No, I'm not, because most of what I'm doing is just fixing the shit that we've been breaking and I haven't had time to, or like cleaning.
Give me some examples of what you fixed.
So I had to regrout our shower because some of the grout was cracking out. Just like random shit around the yard. It's just being an adult blows.
Hey, you finally have a free weekend. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna regrout my shower.
Spray for weeds. Yeah, pretty much. That's
the trick to grouting is you got to put a little vegetable oil right on the tip of your finger when you're sliding it. You know, when you're smoothing the
edges,
the little edge. Yeah,
the crevices
makes it.
I mean, you could just
way more smooth.
Smithers is one of those guys that is going to have a very pristine yard. I like your backyard. It's very clean and proper. I just feel like you're going to keep that as like you're a yard guy.
I've been doing the thing like I got bags and boards now. I bought a football and a frisbee. You gotta have like backyard activities.
What's the ultimate backyard activity?
Personally, I'm a fan of Polish horseshoes with
Beersby.
the frisbee PVC pipes.
That is probably the most fun.
A bunch of different names. Yeah. But honestly, the ultimate backyard activity is just grilling or cooking outside. Okay.
Yeah. No, I didn't really specify game or anything. But yeah, grilling, smoking. That's part of grilling, not smoking weed or whatever. But
are people from Midwest, especially like Chicago and Wisconsin or Illinois and Wisconsin, are we the only ones that call bags?
Yeah, everyone calls it cornhole. My girlfriend is just like, it's cornhole.
When I was in South Carolina, I was calling it bags, and people were getting pissed at me. I'm just like, yeah, let me get a game of bags.
I'm sorry, you want me to call it something that is a euphemism for a butthole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cornhole.
I'm not the great cornholio. I play bags.
Exactly. Bags. But I would say the best activity for a backyard is actually spike ball. I played spike ball over at Yuli's wedding.
Yeah, if you're trying to sweat dicks.
Yeah.
It's great. It's competitive. It's like easy.
But
it's not easy. What kind of fucking spike ball were you playing?
Yeah, if you're playing lazy ass spike ball where you don't take it seriously.
No, it's like a simple game that it's easy to pick up and learn really quickly. It's actually like it's like snowboarding. It's
spike ball championships like on ESPN. Those guys are laying out for every hit, like playing on the beach in the sand. It's intense.
Did you just say it's like snowboarding? It's really easy to pick up.
No, it's easy to.
I don't know if you knew this. He's a Colorado guy now.
Yeah, he's like
no. It's like skiing. I'm sorry. It's like skiing. It's easy to learn, hard to master.
Okay, easy to learn, hard to master. I guess
that's way too intense to be the best backyard activity. I think bags is definitely up there. Just like washers, any of those really simple games.
Washers. What are you, 80?
I like bocce ball too. You gonna call me old
90?
for that?
I was just gonna say bocce ball is a very underrated game with our generation.
Incredible, dude.
Rips. It does rip. We have a bocce ball court at my apartment. I've got to use it.
Wait, what's the one with when you actually have the golfing stick thing, the big mallet? What is it?
Croquet.
Croquet. Okay.
Also, croquet sucks.
Bocce ball is where you just throw the croquet ball like at the little white ball, right?
Yeah, you have different sides. Like you throw the small green one out, and you just have to get close to it.
That game slaps.
Wait, is proper croquet is with horses, right? Or am I making that up completely?
That's polo.
Polo. What's the difference?
No.
Imagine being in someone's backyard on a horse, just like, we're playing croquet today, guys.
Yeah, pretty big difference between croquet and polo. Whatever, same thing.
What? They're using sticks and hitting balls. It might as well be baseball. Stupid.
Wait, isn't the Kentucky Derby today?
Yes. Derby's
Nobody
today.
gives a shit because we can't all go to a bar and get shit faced.
Wasn't
Exactly.
the last time we were when I watched the Kentucky Derby last was at your wedding, right? Didn't you get married on the Kentucky Derby and we just got hammered at State?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was a really good sports day, if memory serves. It was May 4th of 2019.
Oh, that's my girlfriend's birthday.
May the 4th be with her.
you. Yeah, sweet.
Beautiful.
She's never seen Star Wars. That's why I like her.
Oh God, I don't understand how do you switch so rapidly between being a Star Wars fan? Like you can't just love one aspect of the property. You can't just be like, oh, video games are incredible, they rip, and then the movies are stupid. They're based on the movies.
That was a really good impression to break, though. By the way,
yeah, no, just because you like the movies doesn't mean that they can't take the property and make it an entertaining video game. I just love the way that they put that thing together.
I'm trying to think of another instance what that would be, like where the movie sucked but the video game was good. I don't know.
Oh well, every video game movie, but it'd have to be movie first, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like an adaptation that
we'll look into that. That. I'm actually
that
kind of curious to see if that is something.
All right. I have a question. We had a couple questions on the text line. So if you want to get a hold of us, you can either leave us a voicemail or text us at 847-920-6107. So we got one here from Detective Vile. He says, I know you guys said that you regret calling your show the Chumpcast. What name would you change it to? I've literally never thought of this. I've never been like, we should rebrand or anything like that. I'm the type of guy who wants to complain about something without thinking of a solution.
Right. Yeah, no. I said the Chumpcast because we're always monkeying around.
The Dumpcast because we're always talking about shit.
I'm going to go ahead and say that we would change the first syllable to anything that does not rhyme with Trump, because anytime I go somewhere and somebody asks me what our show is called, I have to say it so loud and emphatically. So otherwise people think that we're talking about politics, and that is the last fucking thing that we do here.
The Trumpcast. I'm not wearing my mask. That's right.
Our old school logo, everyone thought we were the Humcast. That was my fault because I created that first logo, and it was like the big C. It was kind of like the Chicago Cubs, where the Ubs was inside the C.
I didn't have any problem seeing that, but for some reason, like it's clearly a C, and it had the bomb wick on it. I thought it was a good logo, but
people were like, Humcast?
Humcast? You guys talking about porn or whatever?
Yeah, we got Johnny Sins on our podcast every week.
I would love to talk to him. He's got some interesting stories, I'm sure.
Of course, he probably does. Just banging people all the time.
Did you guys see something on Twitter, like some anti-vaccine politician?
Yes, I saw
retweeted it. It was a picture of Johnny Sins, who's a porn star, if you don't know, and he's always in like ridiculous get-ups, and he had like his stethoscope and his white lab coat on, like he's a doctor
before he's doing the scene. Yeah,
basically talking about how nobody needs the vaccine, and she retweeted it without checking to see who it was, just because it agreed with her. Fucking idiots!
Yikes!
All right, so Brick, I would assume that if you wanted to change the name of this, it would be something to do with your name in it, like another brick in the wall or something about bricks.
Brickcast. I already said the Chumpcast.
Yeah. At least that doesn't rhyme with Trump. So we'll give you that. Mark, you got anything?
And a monkey would be a great logo, by the way.
Yeah. He would definitely be flinging poo if it's related to us.
Exactly. And then he marked it the Dumpcast. So it kind of coincides, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like we need cast in the name, right? Then it needs to rhyme with chump.
It doesn't get away from the issue in the first, whatever. It doesn't matter. In honesty, I was never going to come up with a good name for this in the first place. It was never on the board. So it is what it is.
Yeah, never thought about it. We're the chumps.
One other text question. I think this came from Kyle, but he didn't sign it. I think I recognize the area code. This is Uncle Kyle. Hey there, fellas. Since we're 2 years removed from the release date of the event of Avengers Endgame, I'm wondering what's the best cinematic experience that you've had. So he says his is still Endgame. I think that's probably a good one because it felt like such a communal experience. You know, you didn't go to see it in an empty theater for sure. Your theater was completely sold out, which feels like a completely different point in time. And you're like elbow to elbow with everybody there, and you're all pumped and excited for it, and everybody's laughing and crying at the same time. And yeah,
it was a culmination of 3 phases of Marvel, all kind of coming to a cataclysmic end, which was amazing. The problem is, 2 years removed from the end game, is he asking about best cinematic experience ever? Because obviously,
literally in his questions, what's the best cinematic experience that you've had?
Okay,
mine was
I think it has to be. It has to be Endgame or Endgame, or I think Infinity War was probably more hype, just because you kind of, I don't know, the way it ended, and just the everything that was kind of, every time they brought in a new superhero grouping, it was just like hype, and everyone was just like jacked up. I still see those things on Instagram or TikTok that just say crowd's reactions when Captain America finally becomes honorable for the freaking hammer or whatever, and then everyone just like goes crazy. It's just like you still get chills from that. It's just you can't beat the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The freaking hammer or whatever it's called. Like that. So I'm thinking back to some of my favorites, and I think when X-Men 2 came out, I was in high school, and I remember waiting outside the Paramount Theater in Kankakee, which was the only place in my town at the time in 2000 that had, it's not an IMAX theater, but it had an IMAX-sized screen. So anytime something we were really excited for came out, we would all go wait in line and buy our tickets there. You know, obviously this was like pre-everything on the internet. We're talking 21 years ago. That one always stood out in my mind, especially since we went to see that one like 4 times.
I actually have a different one, a theater experience, but Mark, you go first.
Mine would, piggybacking off of Smithers, I'm thinking of when I was growing up, when I was like, I think I was like 13 years old. Me and my buddy did the back-to-back double theater experience. We saw,
everybody did that. That's the best.
We saw Lilo and Stitch
for that second ticket.
2 ultimate bangers growing up, Lilo and Stitch, and then we went in to see Like Mike. And that was my first introduction to Jesse Plemons, the bully, and I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah, that was back when Bow Wow was still Lil.
Yeah, those movies, Lilo and Stitch holds up, but Like Mike probably doesn't hold up anymore. But when that came out, when I was like a kid and like into sports and all that good stuff, that was an amazing movie.
So the other theater experience that I had that was the best of all time was Team America World Police, where it was me, Wilpo, I think, and a couple other people. And the people in front of us were parents that brought their younger kids to see this because they really wanted to see it. And every joke that they saw on screen, they'd always like chuckle and then look at their parents. And then when they had that ridiculous sex scene in that, they just like got up and left, and we could not stop laughing at that whole situation because it made it even funnier, the fact that they had to get up and leave. It was brilliant.
Yeah, if we're talking the funniest experience of all time, it had to be when I went to see Superbad. I don't know why. I just, something about seeing that in the theater. I took my girlfriend at the time, and I that was the closest I've ever come to pissing my pants from laughing.
Yeah. That and Pineapple Express when I was just high as balls in high school, like with my stoner buddy who I'm living with now, John.
We just went there and just like chat. That's weird.
It was literally the funniest, best stoner comedy ever, I thought.
Wow. She dated a boy. Her boyfriend at the time didn't smoke weed. Sounds like a real narc. Woof. All right. Brick, you asked me to pull up a sound effect for some reason that I don't know.
Yeah. Did you? Are you going to play it or what?
There we go.
I was waiting for some kind of cue. Anything
that you were the cue.
That just sounded like a Christmas Carol background music thing. Go play it again.
We're gonna get sued now, by the way. Roger Goodell is already on our asses with his legal team. Oh yeah,
he's looking very casual today. He's got like a blue sweatshirt on and some jeans. It's like, come on, Goodell. How about you wear a suit to the draft, you piece of shit?
He brought his fucking chair from his basement like a dork.
Yeah, he thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Worst thing ever.
I think that he thinks that he has fans, when in reality, everybody on the planet, except for the 32 NFL owners, hate him.
I do like that he has he brings on the booze because everyone always boos him no matter where he's at.
You have to. It would get 10 times worse if he was like, no, stop booing me.
Yeah, no, I agree. But that kind of brings up, he makes a good villain, kind of, where everyone kind of hates him. If you had, this is going to be a dumb question that we're going to kind of maybe bring up to the people. If you had a super villain layer, where would you locate it? Like, get Dr. Evil was in a volcano. We'll get back to it. We'll think about it and we'll see what people have to answer. Maybe that could be a dumb question.
Like a small island in the Maldives or something like that.
Yeah, in a volcano, underground. I don't know. There's probably a ton of different places that you can have it that look evil as fuck. In a castle, on a hill.
I couldn't do underground.
Mine would be in like a giant Carson's building, like an abandoned Carson's or Bloomingdale's, like all those big department retail stores that are going under. Those buildings aren't going to sell for at least 10 years. They're going to end up knocking them down. I don't even know. Like, I'm driving down the highway and I see those and I'm like, nobody's going to fucking buy that thing.
That's what Mass VR did. Our friends at Mass VR set up a virtual reality, like first person shooter experience in an abandoned, what was it? A
Lord and Taylor or something.
I think it was like a Macy's or something.
Marcus or some shit. Yeah.
Macy's is still going. It's literally Macy's and Nordstrom. That's it.
Yeah, they closed down a lot of their storefronts, though. It's all virtual now.
Mark should have Super Villain Inc. on his fucking on his department store villain area. Villain
Technically,
layer.
Wherever Mark goes is a super villain's lair because Mark is there.
It's true.
Fact. He brings it. But how about the Bears? Justin Fields is now the Bears are back officially.
What do you think of that pick? That he hasn't played a snap. He's coming from a university that's never produced a college quarterback.
I knew you were going to say that.
The most successful Ohio State quarterback in the NFL was Terrell Pryor, and he came and played wide receiver.
He was undrafted.
And he's going to the Bears, who have literally never in franchise history developed a quarterback. So full disclosure, I hope he works just because I think Justin Fields is a legitimately like good person. I hope that he has a really long NFL career and is very successful. He's not like some of these guys who come out and are just divas and assholes and all about themselves. He's legitimately intelligent. He does a lot of charitable work and stuff like that. He's got a dog that he loves. And he's got
like swag. He's got the leadership really mentality.
Super easy to root for. So
yes, he's going to be the man. I think that's the difference between him and Dwayne Haskins. First of all, he played more. Dwayne Haskins only played a year. And Dwayne Haskins is like the kind of guy to go to a club during COVID. Like he's a strip club, mind you. So he's like, doesn't have that like diva mentality where he's like, oh, I'm the quarterback now. I can do whatever the fuck I want. He's like, I am going to grind and work hard. And I think he's one of those that's going to have a chip on his shoulder because he was drafted way past everybody else. I mean, people took Trey Lance over him. The Niners took Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, obviously, he's just kind of bred to be a quarterback. He's got the biggest horse face ever. But I hope he does good too. I hope he does really well as well.
He does a lot of charity work too. It's good to see these guys coming up and not just like being all about themselves. Unless you're a wide receiver or a cornerback, then everything is always just about yourself.
Yeah. I think this draft, it just seemed like the players went where they needed to go. Like Jamar Chase getting reunited with Joe Burrow. Obviously, they needed an offensive lineman, but fuck that. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow back at it again. They were Tigers, now they're Bengals. Waddle and Tua, they're back. Then we got Hurts and Devonta Smith. They're reunited from Bama. I think they played together with Bama. We got Trevor Lawrence and Etienne. He's back. They got the
Trevor Lawrence took payment in like a bunch of Bitcoin and Ether and Dogecoin.
I think that was for a sponsorship deal that he signed, but and apparently whatever he accepted immediately increased in value. So even if he just sold it immediately, he got a better deal than,
Thanks.
I think I might be stealing Mark's best man alive, but
no, I switched it up so we could talk about it.
Smithers, I got to know your take about Aaron Rodgers.
First of all, he's not going anywhere. This is just like the Russell Wilson thing before it, where they were talking about leaving and then nothing happened because the teams aren't stupid enough to trade away a Hall of Fame quarterback. He won't retire because then he'd be missing out on like $25 million, which is just not going to happen. It sucks that he's pissed off, but now the fact that every Bears fan I know texted me or messaged me and was like, I can't believe it. Like, what did you think my reaction to that was going to be? I'm just like, oh no, I'm so sad. No, dude, if you fucking go somewhere else, it'll be fine. Jordan Love will be another Hall of Famer. Like, what makes you think our entire lives have been Green Bay Packers quarterbacks that are Hall of Fame quarterbacks? Why would they just suck all of a sudden now?
Because that only
jinx yourself
comes in once every blue moon. I mean,
not in Green Bay.
Yeah, exactly. No, not even a blue moon. We haven't.
Yeah, we've never had one.
Millennia.
Yeah, when Haley's Comet comes by, you get a fucking quarterback.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not gonna be as easy as you think to just replace Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
okay. That's working on the implication that we're not going to have Aaron Rodgers anymore, and I don't think that's going to happen. Obviously, everybody in Chicago, even before you drafted Justin Fields, that was the best draft day Chicago had ever had.
Was Aaron Rodgers being butthurt at Green Bay? Absolutely.
Yeah. But then they did draft a wide receiver and a center, so they lost the best center in the league this year. He went and signed with the Chargers. So they drafted a center for him. They drafted a wide receiver for him in the second and third rounds. So we'll see. I think this was a play for him to be like, if you don't get me help, like, seriously, you guys are fucking idiots. Maybe he is that butthurt, but I hear all these fucking draft pundits and NFL talking heads. They're like, oh, it's because his girlfriend is a weirdo. Like, you don't fucking know these people.
Yeah,
stay on their personal lives.
I agree. That's just too far, a step too far. So they got a guy named Amari Rodgers. Roger.
Oh, dude. But, I mean, I would have preferred probably that they got somebody in the first round. But anyways, I don't think he's going anywhere. Brick, do you think he's actually going to leave?
I mean, he seems, from what everyone's saying, seems pretty butthurt. And he says he's not going to go back to Green Bay. It's kind of...
Well, that's the thing, though, is if he was saying it, like if he came out and was like, yeah, I'm not coming back. But this is all secondhand stories and shit.
From Adam Schefter.
Yeah, but it's still a secondhand story. And what's his name? Mark Schlereth came out and was like, yeah, I have on good authority that he's coming to Denver. And then that never happened. And everybody acts like they know everything that's going on. Just like all these fucking player grades in the draft. Mel Kiper has like a 50% hit rate. How many times has he said, I will retire if this guy's not a 10-year starter in the NFL? And then the guy fucking bombs out in year 2. Yeah,
and he has that clip. Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, one of these guys will be a bust. Yeah. You can show this to me in 20 years. And they showed it, and he's just like,
balls between all right. How many wins?
Yeah.
No, nobody has any idea what's going to happen, and that's what makes it interesting. If everybody knew, nobody would watch football.
Exactly. And this is where just the teams can completely change their landscape. Like when the Colts drafted Andrew Luck, they were the worst team in the league, and then went to the playoffs the next year. It's just, that's the parity in the league is so amazing. That's why I love the NFL. NFL's back, baby. I was so jazzed.
How shitty, though, within the 5 years, the Bears have done it to 2 veteran quarterbacks where they're like, you're going to be the starter. And then they just go draft a new quarterback.
Yeah, well, Mike Glennon was clearly not the answer. He was a fucking giraffe.
What do you think about the GM, Brian Gutekunst, or whatever his name is?
Gutekunst? I think he's doing some really things. And I don't know. I'll never agree with any NFL GM. But also, I'm not smart enough to do the job, so I don't know. I just kind of sit back and watch the games. I'm not going to be like, oh, they should have done this, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah. I really wanted Christian Barmore for the Bears if they didn't trade up for Justin Fields. But, of course, he went to the Pats, and he's just going to be a freak out there. Can't believe he went to the second round, honestly.
All right. We good on NFL talk?
Peace.
Move on.
News to us.
I love that jingle.
It's one of those things like, you remember the old NBA on NBC? No, not the TNT one. It was like mid 90s Bulls, and that would come on and it would just be like heaven. Anyways, on to our trailers for the week. Boys, we got some weird ones. First, let's talk about this short teaser. It's probably under a minute, but you see Chris Pratt and you see some alien fighting happening, and this is for a movie coming to Amazon Prime called The Tomorrow War on July 23rd. I had a really hard time gleaning anything from this. Mark, you haven't said anything for a while. What'd you think?
I am a little underwhelmed because I feel like every time we get a sci-fi alien related movie from a Netflix or Hulu or whatever it may be, now Amazon Prime, they're just kind of a letdown. One I'm thinking of off the top of my head is the one that came out like 2 years ago on Netflix, where it kind of looked cool, and then it was just shitty as hell, and I can't think of it right now.
Skylines?
Yes. Yeah.
That was the first thing that came in my head too. And I remember looking at the costumes for the aliens, and I was like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Beyond Skyline. That was actually in 2017. It was a while ago. I don't know. There's always just with Chris Pratt, it has me looking forward to it a little bit more. But you don't really see much in this trailer. So I don't know if it's going to be one of those alien movies where you never see the alien until maybe the last 5 minutes, or if it's going to be an outright just like these aliens are fucking everyone up kind of thing.
I just think that it's going to be so impossible to do another Independence Day or, take your pick of actual good alien movie like Edge of Tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Especially in this one, they're throwing in some kind of time travel element, like somebody comes back from 30 years in the future to tell them, hey, we're still in this war with these aliens and they're kicking our asses. So that's tough. I think this is a tall order. Obviously we'll watch it because this is prime blockbuster, like summer movie thing. Mm-hmm. It's coming out on my birthday, so maybe I'll celebrate that way, and I'll give it a shot, but I'm not going to hold this to a super high bar.
Yeah, I think back to what I was saying before is the one thing this has going for it is the acting, even though right now there's only 2 actors that stand out to me. Is Betty Gilpin is in this as well, alongside Chris Pratt. So yeah, I
love Betty Gilpin.
It has that going for it.
It won't be as good as Future Man, is all I'm saying.
You love that show. It's decent. Okay. Alternatively, I think Sweet Tooth looks incredible. Mark, did you ever read Jeff Lemire's Sweet Tooth?
No, I have not. I do have it though on trade. I'm just so behind with reading stuff. I'm trying to keep up on single issues each week, and that takes up the majority of my reading time because I'm picking up like 6 books every week.
Yeah, I think that was the real crushing blow to getting older, is like you just don't have the time to read every single comic book anymore. I've read a couple issues of this. I have not finished it. I think before this comes out, I'll probably check it out. This is produced by Robert Downey Jr. and his wife, who's like a Hollywood producer. We've got Will Forte, who is this little dear baby kid's dad, which is great. I love Will Forte, and this is not his first foray from Will Forte into a post-apocalyptic setting. So apparently a deadly virus has wiped out most of humanity, and now every baby that's born is some kind of weird mutant baby animal hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am very intrigued by this. Brick, is this weird enough to catch your fancy?
Yeah, it has definitely a different spin on it than what you normally see. This is a DC sort of film, right? Or no? DC
Kinda
related?
It's not like like you're not going to see an appearance from Batman.
Right, yeah, but it's just like one of the DC comics that's just kind of getting played into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they own the rights to it, so...
Sure. Yeah, no, it's interesting enough. I do like that Robert Downey Jr. and his wife are attached to it. I like kind of what they bring to the table. But yeah, Will Forte is the man. It's just an interesting concept that hasn't really been seen before, at least from what I've seen.
The effects look great. I don't know what I thought a deer / toddler was supposed to look like, but I think this nailed it.
Yeah, but that is an interesting concept, that like a virus is going around and it just kind of it makes babies turn half animals. It's just kind of you don't really hear about that. You hear about deadly viruses all the time, but you don't hear about like the virus mutating into a different animal. So
yeah, but did somebody bang a deer? What happened here?
Right, you adulterer with a deer. You fucked a deer. Yikes! All right, peace.
All right. I don't know what this next one is, but I'm definitely in for it. America the Motion Picture. I had a really hard time finding anything about this, but it's Channing Tatum voices like George Washington. Olivia Munn, I believe, is Thomas Jefferson. Killer Mike from Run the Jewels is in there. Jason Mantzoukas, who's making a killing doing voice acting right now. Did you guys see the tweet that I sent you about this?
No.
Someone explain to me what the fuck is going on here. It's animated and they're all jacked. So I'm guessing Mark is in.
It looks to be like they're just reimagining the American Revolution. So it's going to be in that time period, but it's weird because they have like tech that wouldn't exist back then. So there's going to be that sci-fi element to it. Yeah.
Olivia Munn's wearing like a jetpack.
I know. It's weird, but it's going to take place during that time frame. It's going to have some lore. Brick, so
I'm all about that period piece, baby. All about the period piece.
Something to look
no,
forward
this is
to
historical fiction, which is like my favorite thing, where they take an actual story and then just make it ridiculous. So I'm here for that. Somehow, what?
I was just going to read this synopsis real quick. Actually, it does a good job. It says, in the wildly tongue-in-cheek animated revolutionist history, a chainsaw-wielding George Washington assembles a team of rabble-rousers, including beer-loving Sam Adams, famed scientist Thomas Edison, acclaimed horseman Paul Revere, snitch, and a very pissed-off Geronimo, to defeat Benedict Arnold and King James in the American Revolution.
I love that they're bringing in Benedict Arnold, who I don't think had anything to actually. I don't know that Benedict Arnold ever came face to face with any of those characters, but I'm here for it.
Hell yeah, Paul Revere. Well, I love how it would be really amazing if they called Paul Revere a snitch ass little bitch.
No, I'm guessing they're going to paint him as the hero that everyone else thinks that he is.
Does Benedict Arnold have anything to do with Eggs Benedict? I don't know why I thought of that, but
no,
I do because they have the same Benedict in there. But yeah,
you sure? Okay. You sure? Like when he was ordering whoever to get his breakfast every morning, he was like, "Put a little yellow cream stuff on top of my egg, please."
I hope he said that exactly, and he wasn't like, "Don't give me hollandaise. I want the yellow cream shit."
Yeah. Little yellow cream ooze. Just ooze it all over my egg yolk. That is also yellow creamy. Let's just combine the yellow creams to be an ultimate yellow cream.
I need to cream.
Mark had a little too much coffee this morning, but
all right. That's all I got.
All right. Somehow the next trailer made even less sense. The Misfits, starring Pierce Brosnan, Nick Cannon, cheetahs, bad jokes, more Nick Cannon, expensive cars, camel rides, and Nick Cannon. I had to watch this trailer twice, and I still have no fucking idea what's going on here.
This is a Fast and Furious try-hard movie.
Think so? Is this like a, 6 Underground style thing?
I don't know. They don't have as many people in the crew, but they're trying to act like they're a crew. They're not a fucking crew. Nick Cannon's trying to be ludicrous. He's not ludicrous. He's not funny. He doesn't have that.
Nick Cannon's hilarious. We need to have that. Yeah, wish we had that drop in. But Nick Cannon's hilarious.
I have a feeling we would never use that drop because Nick Cannon is not hilarious.
Ironically, I think he looked good. I liked him being the over the top. I think this is going to be a cool heist movie. We have. When's the last good heist movie we've had?
Well, we're going to have Army of the Dead soon.
Right, heist movies are back, but I'm in for it. But I like Pierce Brosnan too. I mean, ever since he got saved by Mrs. Doubtfire, he hasn't been the same, but I want him to make a comeback. I haven't seen him in a movie in quite some time.
All right, what if you get to the end of the movie and they've succeeded in their goal and they're all having a cookout in the backyard?
Pierce Brosnan is in a white fucking wife beater.
He's in a wife beater. They're drinking Pacificos, and he talks about how the only thing that's important in this world is relatives.
And then that's when Mrs. Doubtfire comes out and goes, "Hello."
Yes, Robin Williams from Beyond the Grave comes out as Mrs. Doubtfire. Yes, correct.
That'd be the ultimate end of the movie. Could you even not give that 5 stars? You'd have to give it 5 stars.
I think legally you would have to, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, last trailer, then we'll move on. Any interest in West Side Story from Steven Spielberg?
I actually have interest because I went to the Broadway show and I had a great time. And now that I have that background, I'm curious to see what Ansel's going to do. I think he's the main dude. I forget what gang he's in. But yeah, I do like the story of West Side Story. So,
I'm not a musical guy, but I'm glad that I was hoping that one of you like had insight into that.
Of course, you're a musical guy. You loved Cats.
I don't know if I'd call that a musical as much as I'd call it a weird fever dream.
Okay. The only thing that I saw that I'm going to talk about this movie was the guy who was wearing the red shirt. Is that the guy you're talking about? He was wearing like a red shirt. He had spectacular running form. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I know that that's what makes a movie for you. So good. Mark was talking about Ansel Elgort, who plays Tony, the main character. Ansel Elgort, you remember him from Baby Driver.
Okay. He's in the Jets. Yeah, that's the game.
There you go.
The Jets versus the Sharks.
West Side Story.
Okay.
All right. We got two little bits of news. One I think is relevant to this show, and then the other one is just something I'm excited about. Actually, I'm excited about both of them. But starting Friday, April 30th, which was yesterday, and every subsequent Friday until June 18th, theaters are going to be showing Fast and Furious movies in chronological order for free. So obviously, this is a ploy to get people back into theaters. If I didn't have a kid, I'd probably be going to the theater just to watch all of these in IMAX again. But AMC, Regal, and Cinemark, which I believe are the three biggest theater chains across the country, are all doing this. I think this is a great way to build up, some buzz over Fast 9 coming soon.
F9.
Obviously, we can't see all these in theaters, but I kind of want to go to just see the OG Fast and Furious, the first one.
Paul Walker.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I think that if I were to choose one to see in IMAX, it would be Tokyo Drift.
Doesn't even have Paul Walker in it.
So what?
Dude.
A lot of the movies don't have Paul Walker in it.
You've changed.
Okay.
Tokyo Drift in IMAX? What's so good about Tokyo Drift? All the other ones have the way more action.
Paul Walker. What are you thinking?
And no Paul Walker.
Not all about the explosions, though. It's about the backdrop and the settings and the music. And I'm a Tokyo Drift fan.
Dude, it's got the Michael Winchell Friday Night Lights guy in it. He's like the only thing he's known for is that movie and the one horse movie he had on Disney. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Where he traveled across the world on a horse. What?
It has another thing that I absolutely love, which is a 30-year-old man playing a high schooler.
Oh, God. Whatever.
Best horse movie is Hidalgo.
What's the one where they went to Dubai? That one was
Hidalgo. That's the one I was talking. That's the best horse movie of all time. Hidalgo. Where he's
didn't Secretariat win an Oscar?
No. All right, what are we talking about here? I'm talking Fast and Furious. I'm talking about when they went to Dubai.
Yes. Brick is talking about the horse movie that you just referenced.
They didn't go to Dubai in Hidalgo, if that's what you were saying, Brick.
No, oh my God. I can't have conversations with you people.
What is going on?
That's why we have a podcast.
Yeah, the Dubai one had Ronda Rousey in it, and she's a terrible actress. And somehow Michelle Rodriguez beat her up. But they did drive that supercar out of a super tall building in Dubai. That was pretty cool.
I think that was Fast S7.
I think part of this though is like I've seen the most recent ones in theaters, so I don't need that. Like I didn't see the original in theaters, so that would be a good play for me. I think Tokyo Drift. I probably did say that in the theater, and I probably at the time was like, "This is the best fucking thing ever." And I know how bad of a movie it is, but they're still just drifting around corners. You've got the Drift King. Come on.
Hey, Brick. You make the joke F9.
Yeah.
But you know why the 8th was Fate of the Furious?
Because it had the word 8 in it.
Make your joke.
Fate?
Exactly.
Oh, was that a joke or was that just something I'm doing?
Blowing your mind right now.
Oh, blown.
All right. We can move on. Fuck off.
All right, last bit of news, then we can move on from this.
Wait, then what's going to be the title of Fast and Furious 10?
The 10.
10.
10.
10. No, there's
10.
It's supposed to be the wrap on the like Dom Toretto movie franchise, though. So they'll come up with something ridiculous.
Oh, so F9's the end, huh?
No, 10 is the
Oh, I thought it was gonna be the final one.
I see what you did there.
I'll
Okay.
see myself out.
There you
Yeah, can you mute me and kick me, please?
Okay. Yes, I can see ya. The last bit of news, and this is something that just hit yesterday. Saw a couple press releases about this. I'm very excited. Invincible has been picked up for seasons 2 and 3 already. Obviously, Robert Kirkman's very happy about that. I'm very happy about that because they have a lot more of the lore to explore.
Why would they do that?
What do you mean?
Why would they pick up 2 and 3 and not 4, 5, 6, 7? Like, why wouldn't they just commit to 7, 8 of these? Come on.
They probably secretly kind of have, but you also need the out to be like, if the next 2 seasons suck, you got to be able to cancel it. So by giving them 2 seasons at once, you can kind of help the writers understand that they at least have, 16 episodes to flesh out whatever storyline. And if it doesn't get picked up again, they can wrap it up. If they do like 10 seasons of this, then that's a little harder to do.
Yeah, no, I was joking, but I also wasn't joking.
How many runs of the comic books do they have?
There's 146 issues and a couple of spin-offs.
3 compendiums, which is like 1,000 pages. So
there's plenty to draw from there, and there's plenty to like the Viltrum War. They didn't even introduce who I haven't
seen in the last episode. So, but of course they didn't introduce this person. But go ahead.
Angstrom Levi is kind of pivotal to Invincible's story, and I really want them to bring him in. And they actually replace. Actually, I can't say that's a spoiler, so I won't elaborate on that. But one of the main story arcs that they did in season 1 was actually in the comics Angstrom Levi, and they kind of replaced that with a different character to make something happen. So I'm hopeful that they bring him back. Obviously, you can't have everything from the comics. There's just too many storylines to explore. But obviously, I'm very pumped for this.
Right? Are we going to do a bonus episode on the finale, or?
I think we have a couple that we should do. And then Mark and I were discussing the possibility of like characters you might see down the road in the future that we could revisit as a YouTube
I thought it'd be cool if we did a video like 10 characters that could show up in season 2 and just a little bit of background from like their comic, days.
That would be interesting. And you can bring up like pictures and show people while we're kind of doing the live stream. Dope, I'm in. What are you more excited for? The BOYZ new season or new season of Invincible?
Invincible, just because it's top of mind for me right now. I love them both, so I think they're both great, but I need Dinosaurus in my life.
Amazing.
Is that a villain?
Depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
Mark? So I'll leave you with that little nuance.
The BOYZ or Invincible? What are you looking forward to most?
I don't know. They're completely different to me. I mean, they're not, because they're both superhero gory ass shows, but one's animated, one's not. They're just I don't know. The time when I love waking up and watching Invincible in the morning. I don't know what it is. It kind of gives me that Saturday morning cartoon feel, because I usually wait till Saturday to watch it.
And then you watch the finale and it's just buckets and buckets of blood, and you're like, yeah, this is Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. But BOYZ just I hope that show will go on for 6, 7 seasons.
And that spinoff. Yeah, that spinoff coming too. They're gonna have a couple different avenues to explore. I can't believe we didn't talk about the Game of Thrones. We got some first images of Game of Thrones spinoffs. Nobody cares?
No, they burned all my goodwill. Show me something good first, and then we'll talk. But they're in my doghouse.
Yeah, after they botched it is tough to assume that they're going to make a good spinoff, considering that it's not going to be off of George R.R. Martin's material. I mean,
but it's not David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, so it could be good. I don't know. I would like to think that HBO saw the blowback from season 8, and they're just like, okay, we gotta fucking get this right.
And that's why it's taken so long for them to start filming and writing, and so
And a pandemic,
that helps too.
Yeah, fair enough.
Best.
We the best.
Worst.
The worst. She's the worst person in the world. Huge skank, terrible. But thank you.
Who wants to go first? I'm looking at you, Mark.
Sure. I'm going to give it to Jesse Larios. This guy walked. Actually, I think it's a guy. I don't know. Jesse Larios walked from Los Angeles to San Francisco, which is approximately 500 miles. But he didn't just do it in any ordinary fashion. He did it
For
in a
love.
bear suit.
Oh.
And at first, I mean, we're looking at this right now on YouTube, but for our listeners, looking at this bear suit, I thought it was just one of those inflatable ones. So I'm just like, oh, there's airflow coming through. Like that actually couldn't be that bad.
That looks very
now
plushy.
that I'm looking at it, that is full like stuffing. He was probably sweating his ass off. And it's funny because when you read this article, they go on to mention where he began. He began at 6 a.m. April 12th in the Little Tokyo neighborhood of Los Angeles. The goal was to finish the walk in less than a week. It took him longer than planned, but he finished on Saturday at the Golden Gate Bridge. He donated $16,000 of the GoFundMe that he raised to some charities. But then he goes on to say that his suit smelled at first like a bag of Doritos, but then it just started smelling like a fart. So you can kind of get the
Probably because he was eating too many Doritos. That's fucking disgusting. I'm just picturing, and this will be the second week in a row we brought this up, when you wore your Batman costume to C2E2 and you took the rubber mask off and just dumped the sweat out of it. That's what this reminds me of, and I would definitely not make it across country in that suit because it smells like buttholes.
Actually, I read that wrong. He described the smell inside his costume as pungent, and quote unquote, he said, like when you first open a bag of Doritos and that fart smell comes out.
Ugh, I don't like that at all.
Is that all Doritos or is that nacho cheese?
Not a big Dorito guy. I don't know that I could answer that.
I kind of know what he's talking about, though. That's gross, though. But
yeah,
but props to you, Jesse.
Imagine if they sealed all those Doritos with somebody farting in there, and then just when you open that bag, it just pops up. Gotta seal in that nacho cheese freshness.
It's kind of gross.
All right, Brick, what do you got? Who's your draft pick for best man alive?
Oh yeah, this is going to be the mysterious man in Auckland who reports potholes in his area by drawing a big dick over them with green spray paint. So over in
Auckland, is that like the German Oakland?
I don't know, but it's a city state in Civ. So that's why I know of Auckland. Either way, this guy goes around, and if he sees a pothole, he'll spray paint a giant green dick over it, and eventually they do actually fix the potholes. I don't know if it's from the green dicks, but it seems from what this article says, he's done well over 100 potholes, and once the citizens report it to the police, that's when they get fixed. So
it does seem as though it would draw attention to a giant pothole.
Yeah, they want him to stop because they said it's distracting to drivers, but at the same time, it's like also a warning. There's a pothole right there. Don't fuck up your car and explode your tire.
Do we have pictures? Like, is he an artist? Does he draw good dicks, or are they just like the stuff you see like graffitied on a wall in the bathroom at a high school?
Oh, it's a standard dick. He's not out there fucking veining and putting. He's not doing the dicks from Superbad or anything like that.
There are no triumph.
I need some like shading on the veins, and I need some detail.
Oh, you need a nice artistic dick to be drawn. I put the link in the Discord there. The first page or the first picture on there shows just the classic dick, highlighter green on the road. It really does pop, though. I will say it would be funny if he did have some. You didn't even put the splooge. You at least got to do some dots of splooge.
Yeah, like yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more about that.
I call those snow car windshield dicks. That's like when it's snowing out and you just go see a car and you just fucking draw a quick dick on it and run away and giggle. Yeah, it's one of those types of dicks.
I think the one thing he's missing though is definitely the shaft. You got to make sure you got a shaft there. You can't just have a uncircumcised dick around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Clean it up.
Brick is very specific about circumcision. Got it. Speaking of Auckland, New Zealand, did you guys see that they held a concert that 50,000 people attended because they handled the pandemic well, and like it's safe to go out there? It's fucking incredible. I'm so jealous.
Well done.
Yeah. I have a worst, I don't know.
Auckland's in New Zealand, by the way. So
Yeah, I literally said that like 6 times.
ignore
I have a
it.
worst law agency alive. I don't really know how to describe this, but I'm going to say the victim here is a woman named Karen McBride. And she has a felony embezzlement charge levied against her that's been out there for 20 years because someone on her account rented in 1999 a VHS tape of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Apparently, over the last 20 years, she's lost out on jobs during background checks, which she tried to change her name when she got married. And someone said, no, we can't do that. Like there's something holding it up. So her entire life has been on hold for 20 years because some shithole video place that doesn't exist anymore in Oklahoma said, we need to escalate this to the authorities, and they're going to turn it into a felony embezzlement charge. It's the most insane fucking thing I've ever heard. And if I was her, this is the type of shit that I'm okay with frivolous lawsuits about. I'd be going after them for millions of dollars.
So this is
fucking kidding me.
Did you say this is a police record? This isn't this isn't her credit, right? This is a police record that they have on file.
She has a felony charge. So now she's been cleared of the charge, but she can't get it expunged from her records. So like when you take a new job, obviously they run a background check on you, and if anything pops up like that, no chance you're getting that job. She said she lost so many jobs over the years. The tape was, estimated to be worth $60, and you're ruining the warning over it.
Yeah, without warning, she would get fired. Also, I'm pretty sure this was my best or worst person alive last week, wasn't it? Or did we just?
I don't know. Obviously, I don't pay attention to you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
My bad. If that's the case, I have a very short-term memory because I don't sleep much.
That works. You explained it. You explained it better than I did. I'll tell you that.
Well, thank you. And truly, if that was yours, I apologize.
It doesn't matter. It happens all the time.
Does it?
Brick must have a short-term memory too, because he didn't really seem too confident in if it was or was not.
Because I had like 3 of them last week because I was very prepared because we took a little extra time.
That explains
the
it.
Show. So I don't know if I actually said that one or if it was something else that I went with.
Oh well. Either way, I think that like that's the kind of shit that completely turns you against the government forever.
Yeah.
You can't fucking trust anyone ever again if something terrible like that happens to you. I have crushing anxiety thinking about shit like that happening to me. Like, do you guys still have the feeling when you see a cop car, even when you haven't done anything wrong, you're like, fuck, that's a cop?
Yeah. Something's gonna happen now.
That sucks. No, oh well. Let's move on. And to any of my cop friends out there, if I know you, that means that I have dirt on you. Don't even think about it, because I will throw you under the bus and blackmail your ass. I'm talking to you, Mike. All right. We have a movie review this week, and it's something I think we were pretty excited about going back a few months when we got our initial trailer for a jacked ass Michael B. Jordan in Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. So this dropped on Amazon Prime yesterday, currently at 44% on Rotten Tomatoes from both critics and fans. I think this is the type of movie that has a very specific audience. This is not for everybody. It was directed by a guy by the name of Stefano Sollima from Italy. And he most famously, I think, did the Sicario sequel, Day of the Soldado. Didn't do the original, but I still like that movie quite a bit.
So did I. Sicario was awesome, both of them.
First one was amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. The
second one
was spectacular.
Second one was good.
Yeah, but they do that thing that we always make fun of where like you cross into the desert in Mexico and everything changes color. It's like everything's yellow now. It's kind of dumb. Anyways, if you've seen the trailer for this, you know Michael B. Jordan's a Navy SEAL. He goes on a mission in Aleppo, and it's interesting because this book was actually written in 1993 by Tom Clancy, and Aleppo since then was kind of a hotspot for a lot of things in the Middle East. But he goes on this super secret op mission, and the people find out who was there for reasons that we can't explain for spoilers, and they come back and they kill his pregnant wife, which is devastating. Mark, I don't know if this hit you a little differently, being as a father now.
Yeah. No,
But, that was really hard to swallow and hard to watch.
It was really hard to watch, and I'm glad that they actually shot it the way they did, because they didn't show you. They showed like blood on the comforter and sheets or whatever, but they didn't show her dead in bed, which was good.
However, they showed a lot of other things in this movie that like you don't normally see, like when one of the guys gets run over by a van. Gets assassinated with a van. They show like his whole body and then getting run over by the car, just at an angle that you don't normally see it at, and you feel like you saw the whole thing live. Like some of the stuff that they showed were extremely graphic, and to point out, they didn't show the pregnant wife in bed getting slaughtered.
It's weird. So the scene you're describing was very visceral. I remember that, and like when you have the butt rumbling stereo, it's like thump. And then thump, 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 thump as it keeps running over him. So it's super fucked up.
That tire goes over his neck and his whole body just spins with it. And it's gross.
You could say it was just like.
Yeah. So we have that portion of it. But it's interesting that they chose to do that kind of visceral scene. But then you have a point blank shot through somebody's head and you just get like a little spurt of blood on the wall. Yeah, and they don't show it. They made some really weird choices with the gore in this. So I don't know, Mark, if you were able to get your rocks off while watching this, but I don't know. What did you think about it?
No, I was like in the middle of like PG-13 R-rated stuff. They didn't. It didn't have the. What was that movie we saw with Better Call Saul guy?
Nobody.
Yeah, it wasn't that kind of gore where it was like torture type gore and when they were fighting or anything like that. Overall I did like the movie. I liked the pacing of it. I will say the beginning was kind of slow, but they were setting up everything that was about to happen, which I understand. I saw some bad reviews online, and I guess I can kind of get that, because this is one of those, war dramatic action movies where there's a lot of things you're looking at and you're just like, that would never happen. There's multiple instances where Michael B. Jordan is basically threatening somebody and getting them to tell him something, and the guys end up breaking in 2 minutes and they know they're going to die anyways. Specifically when he's in the car, and the first guy, when he's just like, tell me his name. Like, no guy would fucking just give up the name of somebody knowing that they're about to die right then and there. They'd just be like, I'm going to die anyways. What's it going to matter?
Fast or slow is what the option was.
Yeah. And by the way, in that scenario, I'd probably choose fast, but I'm pissed that they used that one in the trailer. I know that it was a good eye-grabbing scene, but I would have loved to have seen that for the first time while actually watching the movie.
I agree. Because you see the whole thing set up, and that's like something that sticks in your mind, obviously, during the actual trailer itself. You're like, it's going to be some crazy action if they're showing this in the trailer. But again, I'm not a trailer guy.
I did
agree. Go ahead, Mark.
Last thing is, the action was great. I thought the ending of the movie really kept you intrigued throughout it. And Michael B. Jordan, what I did love is, so he gets injured. He's almost out for the count. And he comes back, but they don't show him like getting really weak or anything. Like he acts weak, but you could tell he's wearing really baggy clothes, because he was like, yo, I will not lose weight for this role. I'm going to stay jacked. And they're just like, all right, we'll figure it out. Because any other person would have just like, would have been lethargic, and they would have had atrophy throughout their whole body. That's the word I'm looking for, where they're just.
I think dead was the word you were looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think of the level of jackness, Mark?
Yeah, he's stays jacked in all of his roles. I don't know. He's not more jacked or less jacked than his last 6 movies he's done.
Right.
He's always ready to shoot another Creed movie.
Yeah.
That scene in the prison. Where he takes that shirt off to stuff the sink to kind of give himself some sort of advantage because of the situation that he kind of got put in, he looked fucking huge. He's a
absolutely
badass. Yeah. I think Mark, this movie it was good. I liked this movie. I thought it was good to fine because it doesn't really do anything that like hasn't been done before. You know, it's just your basic cookie cutter Tom Clancy action in an hour 50, which was fine. Which everyone needs to have that turn your brain off and kind of just go into this weird murder fest movie. Just didn't. They showed the cool part in the trailer, so there wasn't anything that really kind of jumped out at me. I think that scene might have if I didn't see it in the trailer, but other than that, it just kind of didn't. Nothing really jumped out at me as if like, oh, this was, you know, go see, must see it. It's kind of the same cookie cutter. Spend more time on Splinter Cell.
All right. I do agree with Mark's take that the first act was slow. They have to do that to set up a lot of things. But I think from the plane crash on, they really ratchet up the tension, and it doesn't really let up until the very end, which is good. It's kind of like a slow butthole clenching that just doesn't let go. Mm-hmm. So that was good. I didn't at first buy Michael B. Jordan as unhinged and bloodthirsty, but they do eventually kind of ease him into that role. I'm thinking of the moment where he pins Ritter up against the wall and is ready to put a fucking bullet in his skull.
Shoots about.
Yeah. By the way, ultimate scumbag. Played by a guy named Jamie Bell. I think he did a good job of being the villain. You know,
he played the fence.
Exactly. And it's kind of that feeling that everybody wants you to have about the CIA. Like, yeah, they're supposed to be doing good, but they can also just kind of flip on you at any point and say that you have a felony embezzlement charge for a videotape that you didn't return 21 years ago.
Right.
That's an interesting twist. The actors were nothing really to write home about. Michael B. Jordan, obviously. Karen was pretty good, but I don't really know what I could say about that character outside of this. We did have the never back down villain, which I know excited
that. Yeah.
Thoroughly excited. He's still jacked, by the way. So that's good. But I don't know. This was, again, just nothing that has not been done before, but still entertaining to me. And I think that this group is the target audience for this. Ship blows up. People get shot. People are jacked. And there's a couple like little hints to clever things that maybe a Navy SEAL would do in this scenario. Like Brick, you mentioned the water in his jail cell.
Right.
That's cool to me. That's why I think that it's for us, and we all probably enjoyed it more than a critic would. But also something I forgot to mention when we did our best or worst person alive. Anybody who works for the Academy and said that Nomadland was the best picture of last year can eat all of the dicks. That movie sucked, and I won't hear any otherwise. Like, the same people that are voting for this and saying it's bad and getting it a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes are the people who are saying that Nomadland was an incredible movie.
Yeah.
So
taking shits in vans, watching that on ultra wide screen is better than this.
The only other thing I'll say is I think they did a few interesting directorial decisions. Like, I'm thinking too, when Michael B. Jordan was trying to escape from the apartment complex, they had some interesting tracking shots of him going around like a stairwell, and they were all single shots. So that was cool. But other than that, yeah, if I'm going to rate this, and if you're watching this show, you know what we like, I'd say see it.
I'll say see it too. I was thinking save it, but I'm like, I don't know. Over the last few movies that I've watched, they've been okay. And this, I actually thoroughly enjoyed sitting down and watching this movie from start to finish. So yeah, see it.
Yeah, if you're debating between this and Nomadland, it's not a discussion. Just watch this instead.
Well, when you put it that way, obviously this is going to dominate over Nomadland. No Badland, more like, or more Badland. Yeah, no, it was boring as fuck. That difference is I put this movie on late at like 9 p.m. and me and my girlfriend both stayed up and watched the whole thing. And she usually goes to bed at like 8:30. So for her to stay awake and watch it all the way through, and for me to be like, this got some bad reviews, but I like enjoyed my time. There wasn't anything that like subtracted away from it. I'm so torn between a save it and a see it because it wasn't anything spectacular, but like the more we talked about it, the plane scene, the fire car scene, some of the jail scene, like some of those scenes they're entertaining. And I think if you're looking for a movie to watch and you want a good action movie, damn it, I'm going to say see it, but I don't want to. So I'm going to say save it just to kind of, because it doesn't deserve a triple see it.
That's fair. And in the end, our ratings don't fucking matter anyways. So
very true.
I'm really confused by the 44% from fans on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm looking at IMDb, and with about 7,000 ratings, it's almost at a 6 out of 10. I'd say that's probably more accurate. I mean, at least from my point of view, but you know what? Take it with a grain of salt. So yeah,
6.8, like close. It'd be almost a 7. I don't know. I don't know.
It sounds like a lot of people didn't like Michael B. Jordan in this role. They didn't think it was his charming, charismatic self. Like I guess they just didn't like him in this role.
But he's a huge badass, and he was a huge badass in this movie. I don't see the problem with that. Although he had one line that pissed me off to no end, just because it was so dumb. But they're talking about like being pawns in the war and the king's moving them around. And Michael B. Jordan at one point says, "Pawns could never kill a king." And I was like, wait, what? You ever played chess?
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely tried to. They definitely tried to shoehorn in the whole chess metaphor and the whole thing. Like he's talking when he's at his family party, he like does a move for somebody while two other people are playing chess. Like he's this big chess guy. Like he's the Queen's Gambit.
Maybe that's what it was. It's just off the hype of the Queen's Gambit. They had to try and slide some allegory for chess in there. But other than that, the one other thing, and this I won't go in depth on it, but because it would be a spoiler. Anytime you cut to the big bad guy walking into a bathroom in a suit in a fancy restaurant, you know something bad's about to happen. Somebody's going to pop out of one of those toilet stalls or out of like a vent in the ceiling. There is a lot of paint by numbers to this. Obviously, Tom Clancy has created a lot of these, like mainstays in action films. So I think that's fine. But that jumped out at me too. But I will shut up about this now.
Well, I'll say one more thing as well. Back to some of the stuff that a Navy SEAL would do, like smart, like tactics that you just kind of think of on the fly, was when he pretended to be homeless because he drank like a big thing of vodka and then he started pouring it on his head. And I was like, what the fuck is he doing? What's going on here? Is he losing his shit?
When he was peeing on his clothes in the tub, I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I was like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, no, but it comes together nicely. And so to have like there's little details in there that you can kind of, again, nod your head at that I enjoyed.
All right. So we're good on Without Remorse then. I'll
have no remorse. Moving on.
Let's move on to our recommendations for the week. Brick, what do you got?
I think Elise and Joe are gonna like this one. Pokemon Snap just came out. We started playing that last night because it came out April 30th, and it's literally the same thing as the original, as in like they didn't cut corners or anything like that. It just seems like they added on to what made the original game so great. So, Pokemon Snap, it's out. Nintendo Switch.
I think my problem with that is that it was always kind of like you play through it once and there's no replay value. But
see, that's not because you can kind of upgrade they do like a rating system with the pictures that you take.
I know.
So kind of after you play through it, you kind of go back and there's a lot of different mechanics that make you go back to certain levels that allow you to unlock maybe different things that the Pokemon can do, which is what made the first game so great, was going back and be like, oh, now I know this Easter egg that brings out a Zapdos in this place or something like that. The difference is I don't know all the Pokemon, so it's kind of tough for me to get behind it as much. It's cool to see the 151 that I do see in there. When I do, I'm like, oh, there's an Arbok, sick. But like, I don't know all the new ones, so there's that nuance that kind of skips for me. But if I think the more I play, the more I'll know. And I'm sure they'll have a Pokedex in there that you can kind of track what you've seen and what you have yet to capture.
I get it. I think I would just rather play old school Pokemon.
Yeah,
Mark, you got.
Been saying for years they need to make Pokemon, but the battle scenes are just Smash Bros. Anyway.
Or like side-scrolling fighter or something. Yeah, totally.
It'd make way more sense to actually have them duke it out and then have like the level be to the advantage, especially in like gym leaders. Like you'd have advantage based off of and your life could be each in one of your Pokemon. You know, if you die with that one, you got another Pokemon coming out.
Okay, Mark, what have you been reading, watching, doing, playing, whatever?
I actually didn't see this movie, but I walked into the living room when Kelly was finishing it, and she looked really disappointed. So a non-recommendation would be Things Heard and Seen, which is a new Netflix movie, which I think is going to gravitate more towards, you know, like the mid-30s dramatic thriller for women. I think this would be more appealing to women. But if you have a girlfriend or a wife or somebody that sees this on Netflix and looks interested, just know my wife loves those kind of movies. She loves Big Little Lies and those type of shows. And this just didn't do it. I walked in at the end and she's just like, that was the dumbest shit I have ever seen.
What was it called again?
It's called Things Heard and Seen. It's with Amanda Seyfried, and Natalia Dyer's in it as well. She's in Stranger Things. But yeah, Amanda Seyfried is from I think she's always in those lovey-dove thriller romantic movies. Yeah, she's in Dear John, I think, with Channing Tatum. But yeah, this was not a good movie, supposedly.
36 on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's after moving to a small town with her husband, a young artist begins to suspect that their home harbors a dark secret.
Yeah.
So there's some intrigue there, but obviously, I don't know. It doesn't seems fine.
We talked about the trailer for this a few weeks ago, and I think it's funny because our friend Joe from Guy at the Movies always posts his scores out of 5 on his Instagram, and he gave Without Remorse a 2 out of 5, and he gave Things Heard and Seen a 4 out of 5.
No,
he's literally a polar opposite of the things that we are fans of, which I kind of like. It's fun. It's fun to have different perspectives like that and like different things. So
we need to get him on an episode.
He's been on an episode. I think he filled in for you one time.
Sick.
So I will also plug something that I didn't actually see, but it is getting rave reviews from everyone I've heard talk about it. It's The Mitchells versus the Machines on Netflix. So it's kind of an animated DreamWorks type movie. Think like Despicable Me, something in that vein. But it's got Danny McBride as one of the voice actors. I've seen trailers for it. It's basically a family. Danny McBride's character is sick of his kids being wrapped up in their cell phones and tablets all the time. So he's trying to get his family to go on a camping trip, get away from all this, and with hilarious results. So I'm very excited to watch this. I think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah, Abby Jacobson plays Danny McBride, Eric Andre, Maya Rudolph. Young Katie Mitchell embarked on a road trip with her proud parents, young brother, and beloved dog to start her first year at film school. But their plans to bond as a family soon get interrupted when the world's electronic devices come to life to stage an uprising. 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm in for it, and I'm absolutely going to make my wife watch that with me.
The budget's $50 to $100 million. That's pretty good for an animated.
Yeah, those big animated movies usually are like that, though. Plus, they paid an all-star cast. But
can I mention something?
Yeah, please.
Just before you wrap it up. Yeah, I just want to say we haven't done this in a few shows, but thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. We are going to be putting out more content on there as the Loki show comes out. I know we just finished up Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and we did some things with that, but we're starting to think of more videos that we can have exclusive to Patreon, whether it be at first and then we post them to YouTube or just for you guys. But there are going to be more things coming, and just want to say we really do appreciate you supporting us there. Also, we just did our movie trivia. We did the Simpsons edition. Well, it's not movie trivia, but we did Simpsons trivia.
They have a movie
past Thursday, and it was a great time. Just want to clear some things up if you're unsure as to how this trivia works. So this is under an hour usually, so it's not going to take up a ridiculous amount of your time, but we're looking for people to come in, just watch this on YouTube. I say watch, as all you have to do is throw it up on your screen and watch it, and just go through a Google form and submit your answers. You don't have to be on a Zoom call. You don't have to be face-to-face with us. You just watch us live when we're on YouTube doing this trivia, and you can win a prize. So I always thought it was a good time. It sounds like the people that have been gradually attending these stay and have a good time as well. So if you haven't been to one of our trivia nights, I really do encourage you to do so. I think you'd have a good time, especially if you like the theme that we're doing. And with that said, we're doing Marvel Phase 1 through 3. So Marvel Phase 1 will be our next trivia, I'm pretty sure. So if you're a big MCU person, be ready. We're doing trivia.
And it seems like a lot of different winners as well. We haven't really had many repeats other than the legend himself, Beardman.
Yeah.
Beardman. But yeah, it's usually pretty fair competition out there. The questions are all made by us. So
should have made that trivia way harder. The winner got all 40 right, and I think that we were tied for second with like 38 out of 40. So
that was your fault, Smithers, with those easy ass questions.
You would have gotten like 3 out of 40. It's just when Simpsons fans are really hardcore. So you're either turn all the way up to 100 or you're just like, whatever, I don't really care that much about it. But
I'm pretty sure that guy.
But
I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure that guy that won was from one of those. So I went into some of the Simpsons groups on Facebook and posted about the trivia. And there were some people that responded and were like, I'll be there. And I'm pretty sure that guy was from a Simpsons group. So
how many did you guys have?
Diehard fans.
How many teams did we have?
We had 7 teams in total. Yeah. We're groups of people. So it was a good time.
Fuck yeah. No, those usually are. I'm pumped for Marvel, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. A phase per trivia. It's going to be exciting. So I think at this point we'll say goodbye so Mark can go eat his lunch. I need to go check my ribs on the smoker. Thanks for tuning in. You can call or text us at 847-920-6107. We'll be back this Tuesday night with D&D, which I'm very excited for because Mark is kind of dead, kind of not. You can follow us on all social media at the Chumpcast. And until next time.
Mark, how'd you die?
You'll just have to watch our latest episode.
But,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to keep this coin.
You're not going to give a little
piece.
You're going to give the viewers a little juice to kind of to think about.
I'm dead, but not technically dead, which was obvious in the episode. You know why I'm not technically dead, but
why?
Yes.
Why are you? How'd you die? And then why are you not technically
My soul
dead?
is with Smithers' character right
now.
now.
Smithers stole your soul, you dark sicko, dude. What?
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
It was for a reason, though.
Aren't you turning half demon? Aren't you like kind of turning into a demon?
Yeah, I sprouted a second head this week. That was cool.
Wow. So we got a half demon.
Second head. Do I have to tell to shut up all the time?
Who voices the double? Who voices the head?
Joe and I kind of switch off, but yeah.
Amazing.
His name is Doug.
So you got a split personality demon who now owns Mark's soul.
Pretty much.
What's Snot up to? I need to know. Snot God.
Yeah. It's a secret. Even he wouldn't tell you.
Oh wait, no, I think I do. Is he still doing the box trick?
Yeah.
That box. Mysterious. That is a mysterious box.
All right.
Okay, good. Now
so
sign
tune
off.
into that. It'll be this Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Central, and we're gonna wrap this up so I can go pee. But thanks for tuning in.
I got one more question for you.
Shut up.
One more question for you.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
Yeah.
Jumps out, motherfuckers. Peace.
Aloha. Mahalo. Ciao.